Welcome to Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. We are going to have a great show for you today. Folks, before I get started, was that news great or what? We start out with a good 6 minutes of news. But please remember, early in the mornings, we start our talk series at 7 o'clock with Amy Goodman's Democracy Now! And of course, we have Steve Hunter right after that at 8 p.m. with You Call, a great call-in show with Steve Hunter. And Rourke with Wide Open Spaces. I am here with you Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with Politics Done Right. That cough is still there. And, of course, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have, same time at noon, Dean Becker with The Moral High Ground with Dr. Dean Becker. News at noon to know. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. I want to remind you guys that we are in fund drive mode. In as much as we're in fund drive mode, though, we want to hear from you. So remember to give us a call at 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Give us a call because, folks, we cannot keep this station on air without you. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. So it's going to be a great show today. We have several things to cover. Sorry about that. We have a lot of stuff to cover, but most of all, we're hoping that you are going to call that number and hit the number one and say, yes, I want to make sure KPFT remains on air. Yes, I want to make sure that Politics Done Right is earning its right. Anyhow, folks, 713-526-5738. What's today's topic? Today's topic is Medicare Advantage is a fraud, and here is the proof. And the second topic, Unpatriotic Silicon Valley billionaires. Folks, we have a lot to speak about. Now, let me tell you, a lot of folks are out there thinking, those nice things that are coming through the mail, that tells me I am getting that good old Medicare. It's the real thing. It's the right thing. I want you guys to be aware of the snow job. I want you guys to be aware of the switcheroo. I want you guys to be aware of what's being done to all of us as taxpayers. But you know, with all these things that we talk about, there is a solution. And the solution is always gonna be you. And how do you become the solution? Please remember, you have got to go out and vote. You need to register to vote in the state of Texas. Register to vote in whatever state you're in. In the state of Texas, the deadline for registering to vote is October 11th. That is tomorrow, folks. You need to get your stuff and sign up and be ready to vote. I was listening to the news programs yesterday, and many of them are saying that a whole lot of folks are concerned about participation rates in voting. As a person from Central America who became a naturalized citizen, I can tell you that one of the things that I always cherish is the ability for me to come to the country and vote. So folks, please remember, we have a whole lot of gifts here to give out. I just got a list here that's you can't deny. Hey folks, get our KPFT 419 Love It shirt. You know those shirts with our old studio? Hey, that studio was a beauty. It's a $100 donation, which it turns out to be $833 a month. So please, folks, call 713-526-5738. Yes, we are pitching today, but we are also going to be giving you news, info that's going to brighten your day, info that's going to enlighten you. 713-526-5738. We also have the KPFT 4504 Caroline shirt. So we have two new T-shirts for you. One that displays our old location. For those who are nostalgic like I am, get that shirt. $100 contribution or $8.33 a month. That's about a couple cups of black coffee a month. Can you do that for keeping us on air? What about $8.33 a month again for that new Caroline shirt? And of course, we have the 419 Love It and 4504 Caroline T-shirts combination. $180 or $15 a month. You know, a couple of ventis of a good drink. Come on, folks, you can help us out here. Actually, when I say you can help us out here by calling 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. But it's not only helping us out, it's helping your community out. It is making sure that you have a station where you have a say in. It's making sure that we can continue to unabatedly, we can continue to provide you with music you won't hear anywhere else, that we can provide you with news you won't hear anywhere else, and opinion that are not likely to be held anywhere else. KPFT Natural Fiber Caroline Street Tote Bag. Our tote bag, a contribution of $75 or $6.25 a month. Come on, give us a call. 713-526-5738. Lee Grant is online and he says, hey, Egberto, Medicare.gov, the official U.S. government website, refers to Medicare Advantage as a type of Medicare health plan. They do. You know something that we talk about all the time, Lee Grant? Our politicians are bought. The insurance agents, the insurance the insurance industry owns so many of our politicians that many people don't know the difference. Well, let me tell you one big difference. Real Medicare, you have all options to choose your doctors and otherwise. Medicare Advantage, you don't. But we'll go into that in a further detail after we're doing some pitching here. Let me get through with the pitching, Lee Grant, and then I'll be right back in touch with you, and we can talk a little bit more about Medicare. So, folks, stick with us. I am doing some pitching. Don't leave us. A lot of times you guys hear us doing some pitching and you say, there is KPFT once again doing a fund drive. We have to. We don't have commercials or ads, but we give you a lot of meat on the bones. 713-526-5738. We have in the studio, Stuart. Stuart, how are you doing, my friend? Thank you so kindly for being a part of the new board team. We just couldn't do it without great volunteers like you. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm great, Egberto. How you doing?
I am doing fine. Stuart, I know you don't want to say this, but since it's already been said and you're out the door already, I am going to. Look, you're a volunteer here and also a contributor. What made you want to contribute to, hey, KPFT, this community radio station, brother?
Yeah, I've been a long-time listener to KPFT. Used to listen to PT's Cajun Bandstand as many as 30 years ago, and had an opportunity to volunteer and to put my money where my mouth is. So obviously I'm living it and believing it.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. We couldn't do it without people like you. And you are one of those double whammies because, first of all, you come and you help us out by running the boards. And because, folks, this is all volunteer-based. When you give us your money, it's going to pay the electric bill. It's going to pay the water bill. It's going to pay for the rent, the taxes, you name it. So please, you have a lot of people spending a lot of their good time here to make sure that we as a community radio station can stay alive. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. And we have also in the studio Marlo Blue. Marlo Blue is in there waiting to take a call, and she is bored sick because there aren't any calls coming in. So please, folks, give us a call, 713. If you're listening to me right now, if you're listening to Politics Done Right now, it's a program that you like. And if you like the program, I ask kindly, give us a call, help support it, whatever you can. I mean, if you only got $20, $5, 25, 40, 50, 100, $1,000, whatever you have to contribute to allow us to stay on air, please give us a call at 713-526-5738. Additional gifts, Caroline combo with a mug, a tote bag, and one of the other of the new T-shirts above. It's a $240 contribution or $20 a month. I know you can do that. If I were out there just walking around with you, I know you'd say, you know, Egberto, I can go ahead and get you a couple of coffees a month or 3 coffees a month. You know, we maybe get me a coffee a week or something like that. Think about it that way. Is it your small contribution, those of you who are willing to give a small monthly contribution here or a one-time contribution, whichever one, those of you who are willing to do that, think about it. It costs you so little to do so much because we are able to do a lot when a lot of people give a whole lot of small contributions? That's all we're asking for. 713-526-5738. Where else are you going to really hear the truth about Medicare, as we will discuss in a little bit? Whereas will you hear about the Silicon Valley guys who made their monies on your back? Some of them that you worship today that you think are the best thing since apple pie. But you still with them. 713-526-5738. But do you just want to talk and discuss a few things with me as well? 713-526-5738. We are taking calls, and we're taking calls for contributions, and we're taking calls to be on air. So whichever one you want, give us a call. 713-526-5738. Let me go ahead and get into the subject at hand. And thank you, Lee Grant, for being online and giving me a good conversation to start with. I want to read you something. This is the title of an article from Common Dreams, and it goes as follows. The title goes as follows, and I'm getting there right this minute. It says, "Straight up fraud. Data confirms private insurers use Medicare Advantage to steal billions." And the subtitle is, "The move to privatize Medicare," said one expert, "has been very profitable in part because insurers are good at making their patients seem sicker." And let me be frank, I have nothing against profit. I mean, I've had several businesses. A lot of folks call me and they call and report me, "Hey, this guy doesn't belong in America because of the way he speaks about economics." No, I believe in profits. I believe in having a business that's worth its weight. I believe in having a business that has a reason to exist. Insurance companies in healthcare have no reason to exist. "The move to privatize Medicare," said one expert, "has been very profitable." And here is the subtitle. "Insurance giants are exploiting Medicare Advantage, a corporate managed program that threatens to result in the complete privatization of traditional Medicare, to capture billions of dollars in extra profits." Saturday reporting by the New York Times confirmed. And here is a byline. "Medicare Advantage shouldn't exist." That's not from me. That is out of a New York Times article. It's not some crazy lefty like me saying that, but we've been saying it for a long time. The newspaper analysis of dozens of lawsuits, Inspector General reports, and watchdog investigators found that overbilling by Medicare Advantage provides is too pervasive. It exceeds the budgets of entire federal agencies, prompting journalist Ryan Cooper to call the program a straight-up fraud scheme. Seems like we have a call, and as soon as that call is queued up, I'll take that call. Nearly half of Medicare 60 million beneficiaries are now enrolled in Medicare Advantage plans managed by for-profit insurance. And it's expected that most of the nation's seniors will be ensnared in the private sector alternative to traditional Medicare by next year. That is difficult. That's a fraud. Jeff, come on in on air. Whatever you want to talk about, but we'll continue with the Medicare Advantage statement. So go ahead and bring Jeff on air, please. Let's see, it'll be coming shortly, folks. We'll be coming with that in a minute as we kind of clean things up. But until I see red to bring Jeff on air, let me just continue with the reading. Nearly half of Americans will be on Medicare Advantage, which means traditional Medicare will then not be the majority of Americans shortly. And that is shameful. That is shameful. We'll go into that next. 6 weeks ago, Senator Ron Wyden, Democrat of Oregon, launched an inquiry into potentially deceptive marketing tactics used by Medicare Advantage providers to take advantage of vulnerable individuals. Everybody that I know, are we going to get that other one on the air? Or okay. All the vulnerable individuals tells us the following. And Jeff, you'll be on shortly. As soon as Marlo gets off of her call, we'll get you on air, okay? Anyhow, think about this. I've asked many older folks, people 65 and over, "Hey, what kind of coverage do you have?" And they'll say, "I am on Medicare." And I'm like, "Are you on standard Medicare or are you on Medicare Advantage?" And then they'll tell me, oh, I'm on standard Medicare. They said it's Medicare. And I said, okay. Then the next question I usually ask is, do you pay extra for ears, no ears, eyes, or anything else? Oh, there's some coverage in that for that. Then I'll tell them, no, ma'am, you are on a private healthcare system called Medicare Advantage that just follows some rules for the thing. That's all. So you have to know what you're buying. You have to know what you're buying. And unfortunately, are we going to get the other caller on or not? Okay, great. Unfortunately, what we find is most people don't understand exactly what's going on. So what I find is very important is to give some very distinct differences that they won't tell you. When you go in to get health care and you sign up for Medicare, many of the companies out there, the private companies that are trying to sell you something, they call you all of the times. Remember, if they can call you so many times, if they can have all those ads on TV, if they can have all those ads on the buses, it means that they are using your premiums to pay for all those ads, all those insurance agents, many of them who get 100% of your first year's premium into their pockets. People, it's a scam. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. You can call us and speak on air, or you can call us and hit 1 for a contribution, 2 to be on air with us. But we would really love to hear from you. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Let me tell you a few things. Tom Hartman, somebody, a good friend of mine, he has a show as well. In fact, his show follows this show as well. Let me tell you, he wrote the definitive book on health insurance, and when he covered the process of Medicare Advantage, I asked him to come on the show to really discuss to everybody why is it that we want to remain standard Medicare. And he gave the story about having a good friend of his who had prostate problems, and the friend finally found a doctor who could actually solve the problem, and he thought it was covered, so he flew to New York to go ahead and get the coverage for his prostate problem, and they signed him up and everything. Then went ahead and took his Medicare, which he thought was Medicare. He didn't know he had Medicare Advantage, and the person came back to him and said, "I'm so sorry, we don't take Medicare Advantage." He does. Let's see. Oh, the caller doesn't like us to pay. Okay, let me tell you something, folks. I'll tell you something. If you don't, I will shut down my pitch right now. If anybody who calls that doesn't like pitching, because we have to keep this studio open, will start ringing these phones to give us the necessary sustenance that we can keep you listening to us. So to my friend who is calling who hates pitching, I ask you so kindly, if you call, my show has to raise $350 right now. My show. Okay, I think it's actually $400. If you call and say you don't want to hear us pitch, you don't want to hear us ask you to say, let's support this station, I promise you, if you call right now and you contribute $400, I will stop pitching and I'll go into my full program on Medicare Advantage as well as the issues in Silicon Valley. But I'm pitching because the phones aren't ringing. I'm trying to interspace it with some of our topics here. But, you know, this is our fund drive, and this is the only way we can pay our bills and keep us on air. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Look, we cannot do it without you. We cannot survive as a community-driven radio station that is not driven by corporate money. We cannot do it without you. We cannot play the music that we play without you. We cannot go with the types of programming that we have without you. 713-526-5738. Please hit 1 to donate. 2 if you want to speak on air. Preferably, you can hit 1 to donate first and then call back, hit 2 and, contribute. Look, let me tell you, folks, we are here to serve one set of folks, and that's you. I promise you that. Everybody in this room that I'm looking at right now are volunteers. Everybody in this studio right now, there's 6 of us in this studio right now, all volunteers. There's somebody outside, one of us outside cutting the grass and cutting the greens. There's somebody learning the boards and somebody operating the board, and Marlo handling the phones, Stuart on the boards. And then we have our manager running around here making sure things are working. All of it on a volunteer basis. You know why we do this? Because we love what we do to serve our community. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. Judy, come on in. All right. Judy, how are you doing today, my friend?
Hey, hi, dear. I forgot to say one thing about that program I was telling you about, that getting the churches, the at-risk teens, Gangsters for God. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember you well, Judy.
Okay, well, not only would the teens be trained and supervised under other community service professionals like the electricians, plumbers, AC, people that the judge or the ministers could designate which houses need repairs.
Right.
And companies like Lowe's, Home Depot, they would donate not only the material, but in some cases tools to make this a complete program that could be utilized in anywhere in America.
That is excellent. I'm glad for that information, Judy. I ask you one favor. Send me a quick rundown at info@politicsdoneright.com. Info@politicsdoneright.com.
I'm not anywhere that I can write this down at this time. I'm sorry, but
that's fine. That's fine.
I can call back and she could give it to me.
Excellent, no problem. Thank you so kindly for your call.
I mean, what do you think about that? Don't you think that would create such a beautiful world?
Oh, absolutely. Let me tell you something. Anytime we are surrounded by volunteers, anything that's volunteering, that's helping others, it's but a wonderful thing. Absolutely. 713-526-5738. Thank you so kindly for giving us a call. We couldn't do this without you. Let's see. You can go ahead and take the phone offline. There we go. Great. Anyhow, 713-526-5738. Again, folks, give us a call. We are not, I don't see any calls coming in yet on our fundraising. So please give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, a simple contribution of $8.33 a month will give you the KPFT 419 Love It shirt. Or you can get the KPFT 4504 Caroline shirt for $180, a $20 saving. You can actually get both T-shirts. It's a contribution to help us stay on air. $15 a month is that one. For $75, in other words, $625 a month, the KPFT Natural Fiber Caroline Street tote bag. For $75 at $625 a month, you can get the KPFT Caroline Street coffee mug. Think about that, folks. You get all these things in supporting us. You can get the KPFT Rainbow Logo Face Mask, which is for $50 for 2, $100 for 5. I mean, it's worth it, folks. Support the station, 713-526-5738. I will be back into the program, and I'll be pitching again. Give me about 5 minutes to continue the Medicare saga that I started telling before Judy called in. And to catch up those who are just getting to the dial right now, let me remind you. Here it goes. Tom Hartman relayed a story to me where he said, a friend of his, prostate issues, And what happened is he thought he had Medicare. He went to the doctor. He found out he had Medicare for all. It wasn't covered. So as it works out, Medicare Advantage tells you what doctor you can go to, what medicines you can take, and if you fall out of that. Let's go ahead to Ali. Come on in, Ali. And then we'll continue with this story. Ali, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Talk to me, my friend.
Hi. So, yes, I think it's important that people contribute to their local radio stations and their local, their local newspapers to get the local news from the people in their community. Instead of looking online and seeing all these big events happening, it's better to stay connected locally. And through the donations that they receive today, this radio station will be able to stay open and provide people with, all sorts of information and media to better further themselves in their local community. Because the only impact you really have is the people around you, not people abroad. You can scream on Twitter, to things that have nothing to do with you, or you can participate in your local community. So that's what you guys are doing, and that's what I love.
Ali, I appreciate those comments. I hope folks listen to what you're saying, because, there are a lot of organizations right now trying to stress that specifically, and that is you have more influence locally than anywhere else. You supporting a station like KPFT gives you the power to get yourself into the conversation. Ali, you just called the number here, and guess what? You're on air, and you have hundreds of thousands of Houstonians and the surrounding areas listening to you right now, both live and later in podcast. So, your voice, your statement has just been carried all over the airwaves. 713-526-5738. Anything else you'd like to add, Ali?
No, what I can say is people stay connected to your local community. Get to know your neighbors, say hi to your neighbors, say hi to the people around you, because that is community.
Absolutely. So thank you so kindly for calling in, Stuart. And how did you find us? Did you just surf to us, or you've been a listener?
Say again?
How did you find us? Have you been a constant listener, or you just kind of found us surfing the channels?
Every city I go to, I listen to the local news channel.
Wow.
Every city I go to.
Great.
And I've traveled quite a bit around the States, and you listen to the local news channel, and you get to see what the local community is about. And that's the most important thing.
Ali, brother, you are a gem. Thank you so kindly for calling in. Okay, my friend?
Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You have a perfect rest of your day as well. Folks, the number is 713-526-5738. Thank you for calling, Ali. You have a wonderful day. 713-526-5738. Folks, we haven't had our first contributor yet to Politics Done Right. And like I said, we have a large budget that we got to get to. So please give us a call. 713-526-5738. I want to read you a bit more from this article, because, the upside just says the following. Medicare Advantage shouldn't exist. The newspaper analysis of dozens of lawsuit inspector general reports and watchdog investigation found that overbilling by Medicare Advantage providers is so pervasive it exceeds the budget of entire federal agencies, prompting journalist Ryan Cooper to call the program a straight-out fraud. Nearly half of Medicare people, or Medicare Advantage, the 60 million people that are on Medicare, are going to be on this private system, the Medicare Advantage system, which means you are at the behest of the corporate executive who has to satisfy shareholders who are going to make a profit, who must make a profit on your behalf. In other words, if it costs too much to serve you, you won't be served the way you should. As the table below shows, almost every major player in the industry has been accused of fraud by a whistleblower or the U.S. government. In addition, the vast majority are engaged in rampant upcoding or exaggerating patients' illnesses in order to reap more money from taxpayers, something they do while refusing to provide necessary care for tens of thousands of people each year. I know so many people who have gone into their doctor's office wanting a particular prescription, and they couldn't get it because, oh, that's not covered. And why isn't that covered for us? That's too expensive. Why is it too expensive? Well, we have to make X amount of dollars for our shareholders. Folks, it always looks pretty when somebody is trying to sell you something. You think about it. Anytime you're going to be sold something, it looks pretty. You have to do your own research and dig. I find it obscene, really. I find it obscene that for something as basic as healthcare, as a country, we have to research, and it not being simply a right provided by our tax dollars. Our tax dollars doing it right now. Don't mistake it. But the people that are reaping the benefits from our tax dollars are those executives in those insurance companies who are ripping us off blind with this thing called Medicare Advantage. And remember, when that guy sells you a Medicare Advantage as opposed to you just getting your standard government-issued Medicare, which only costs 2%, remember, that guy selling you that insurance, more than likely, all your premiums for that year are likely going into his pocket. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a job. But is that what it is supposed to be? No. It is supposed to be health care that all of us are known, guaranteed to have, so that in our time of need, it is there for us. But in our time of need, they ask us to research. They ask us to search. They ask us to do all these things to be self-sufficient. Folks, give us a call, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. I am waiting for my donors to call. I'm waiting for our supporters to call. 713-526-5738. I know you are out there. I know that you want the station to stay on air. I know that you see the value in what we do. I know that you know that the things we speak about here in detail, you simply won't get on mainstream media. How can a mainstream media who is advertising Cigna, who's advertising Blue Cross, who's advertising Humana, who's advertising all these other insurance companies, how could they possibly tell you that if you go for a private Medicare Advantage plan, that it ultimately could hurt you? Let me give an example. If you go for the standard Medicare Advantage, there's something called Medigap. And Medigap is an additional insurance to cover what Medicare doesn't cover. By law, the private insurance companies selling Medigap, they have to charge you a minimum, a small amount. It couldn't go over a certain value. It's cheap. In effect, it's fairly cheap. And it doesn't matter whether you're sick or not. When you sign up for Medicare the first time, you have to get it at that price. But if you go ahead and go for Medicare Advantage and you realize they don't serve you, you said, no, I want to go back to standard Medicare. If you go back, the Medigap that you have to pay is through the roof or unattainable. If Joe is ready to come on air, please feel free to put Joe on air at your convenience, my dear brother. Let's go ahead and get Joe soon. He'll be on soon. But again, folks, if you have to go to Medicare, if you have to go from Medicare Advantage back to Medicare, standard Medicare, come on in, Joe, come on in.
Yes, sir. Just calling in to let y'all know that I retired back in 06.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the plan A and B Medicare.
Yes, that's the standard.
And I've been listening to what they say. You were talking about these corporate companies making their money, and it's true.
Yes.
I, for one thing, hardly ever use this. I'm 72 years old, and I don't know how long I'm going to be living.
Right.
But at the end of the year, I still, I put more than what I use it for.
Mm-hmm.
I have a medical doctor that I only see. I don't see my physician regularly. I'm not that type. If I'm ailing, I can fix it.
Right.
I can remedy that. But you're right about these, and there's nothing being done about that.
And you know what, Joe? Here's the thing why it's not being done, right? Because both parties are in the bag of the insurance companies.
I got you there. Yes, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. Well, I call it Republican or neoliberal Democrat. They are both owned by the insurance companies. If we want change, the only way to get change is forget about party and elect progressives, those people that believe in things like health care for all. And health care for all means all of us, whether you are 10 years old, 10 months old, 100 years old, we all have health care as a right.
These companies don't have, they don't hold them accountable for that.
Exactly.
You know, these rich CEOs of big companies, it's just like the gas companies too. They just have a reason to raise the prices, and lower them whenever they decide it's
let me ask you the whole one time. I want to keep you on here because you're an important person to talk about this issue, but I want to ask folks, call 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Please go ahead and hit 1 to give a contribution. We're still waiting for contributions. I gave a few pitch of the different things that we have. Just call that number and ask, 713-526-5738. As you can see, I'm speaking here to Joe, and Joe corroborates what we're saying here. The scam that is Medicare Advantage. He's on standard Medicare, and he understands that he can actually see any doctor he wants. He can actually see. Go ahead, sir.
Right. You have it, and then you have to meet your deductible.
Right.
That's another $500-$600, $700. Who knows? I lost count. I don't know. I haven't seen a doctor. I only have a doctor that he's a urologist.
Right, but you know what's interesting, Joe? Let's say you had decided to go to, I think the Advantage is called C. I don't remember what the Advantage is called.
No, I don't check that. I only have A and B. I don't do any other insurance.
Exactly. Interestingly, if you did the other way around, and let's say you're 72, I am 61. Let's say sometime, God forbid, you get real ill, right? You're covered because nobody can tell you that you can't go to Kettering to take care of something that may be substantial. But let's say you are in one of these other plans, one of these private plans, that's not true because they'll tell you you can't see
what
X,
you want to hear.
Exactly. And they don't tell you that
you want to hear.
Right. They don't tell you up front what's going on. But we have a lot of people, and that's why I urge people to support KPFT, because the news organizations can't do this. We can go into detail and tell you Medicare Advantage is bad, period. No news station on air who advertises Cigna or Blue Cross or Highmark or United Health or Humana or CVS Health. All those guys advertise on our standard airwaves. And if you advertise there, you can't come out and say, "Oh, I am speaking badly of these people who advertise on my network." That is why you must have a KPFT, a place that you can actually hear some truth, right, my brother? So
the truth, right? Look, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I might be wrong. Canada, I think, has free insurance.
Yes.
Cuba, it's a communist country. They have free medical for.
They do.
And there's other countries that do that. It's just a scam. The way I see it, it's just a scam. And especially the seniors now that when they were growing up, they didn't grow. Some of them that not the blue collar, but the middle class were making the minimum wage.
Yes.
And what right now they're retiring. What's they're losing their soul.
Yeah. Whoops. Are you still? Oh, let's see. We lost. No, Joe is still on. Oh, sorry. Joe, call back, and both of you who call, we are learning to use our new system, folks, so please bear with us a bit. Call back again if you are with us. Just call us back and we'll take your call. I mean, we are learning this stuff right now. We have new equipment. It's a new studio, and at the same time, we have to do some fun driving. So bear with us. We accidentally drop you every so often. Just part of learning. We're all learning here. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. As soon as Marlo gets back, I think David wants to come in. Let's go ahead and let David on. You don't have to put what he wants to talk about. You can just throw him live right away. We'll talk. Just throw him live and we'll talk right away. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. David, you're hot. Come on in.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
been listening to you for a long time, and I have an interesting story about what happened with me in Medicare.
Let me hear it, sir.
I am going to be 63 next month, but I've been on this for, I don't know, 7 or 8 years now because I had a mental breakdown. I was locked in.
So you qualified for Medicare before 65.
I did.
Yes.
And not only that, but I have an Advantage plan that absolutely costs me nothing because I am on Medicare. It's with Devoted. I don't know if you're aware of them or not. It's neither here nor there, but they've been taking care of me for.
And that is a magic. David. I am not what I'm talking about. When you hear me get really very sour on Medicare Advantage, it's not on the people who signed up for Medicare Advantage. I am not sour with you for signing up for Medicare Advantage because you know what? It turned out for right now being a better deal for you because it cost you nothing. Here's what the problem. And here's the problem, though, right? We don't want that to come from the private sector Medicare Advantage because here's what they've done to cover you. They billed you as a very expensive asset. There are different billing methodologies that they use with Medicare Advantage because it's a private company that bills the government. And they billed you at a very high rate to the government plus profit, right? If the government was able to do Medicare the way it was supposed to be done, meaning not influenced by the insurance companies, what would have happened then is they would have provided you that same service that you're getting from Medicare Advantage at a lower cost to all of us taxpayers. Right now, all of us taxpayers are paying a lot more to cover you because some of that money has to go into the pockets of the executives and the shareholders. So this isn't a negative on you for choosing Medicare Advantage. It is possible that right now Medicare Advantage gives you a better bang for your buck. I will not disagree with that at all. But here is where the kicker comes in, David. You may get some other illness later that Medicare Advantage plan only supports a particular set of doctors. And if, let's say, you found a better place that will cure you better, because you are not in that group, you have no choice. And if you decided that, well, you're going to go back to Medicare, the standard Medicare, to get your coverage, the Medigap that standard Medicare folks have to purchase, they won't sell you the plan because you're already sick with a pre-existing condition. They don't have to sell it to you, or they can sell it to you for a very, very inflated cost. So a lot of times it is the security of the standard Medicare is so much better than just Medicare Advantage in the long run if you get sick. Right now you have a deal, and I won't, you did what was best for you, so I get it, David.
Yeah, I had to, yeah.
Did you follow what I was saying, David?
I do, and I'll tell you, Umberto, I always tend to agree with you. I've listened to you for quite some time now, but yeah, I had to. I mean, I understand about taxpayers paying and everything.
I get it, brother. Brother, let me tell you something. Our system, our healthcare system sucks, and you have to do what you have to do for David. I get it. And I am for doing what needs to be done for David, right?
Right.
But what my overall goal, when I say I'm talking about the movement's overall goal, is to ensure that everybody can have health care for all, that you don't have to jump through all these hoops. You got what I'm saying, brother?
Absolutely.
Look, thank you so kindly for calling. Yes, anything else you want to say, sir?
No, that was just what I wanted to get across. It's just that not everybody is
I get it, sir. My critique will never be for the people stuck in this system, ever. It's about those who run the system. So for all of you that are listening to me on the outside and who have chosen Medicare Advantage, this is not a critique on you At all. I promise you that. This is a systemic problem that we as a society have to solve by voting the right people into office. Thank you so kindly for calling, David.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for listening.
You have a wonderful day. Folks, we need you to call in 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. We need contributors. Please, when you call in, if you want to make a contribution, whether you have a credit card or anything, call 713-526-5738 and hit that number 1 to contribute. And then why not call back and hit the number 2 and talk to me? Of course, you can just call in and hit the number 2 to talk to me, but I would much more. I am responsible for holding my own here in the fund, in our fund in raising for this station. And if you don't call in, I can't hold my keep and stay on air, because you know what? We got to support what we have on air. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Can I hear from you? Can you call in now and make a contribution to KPFT in the name of Politics Done Right? 713-526-5738. And Joe, we dropped you a few minutes ago. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for that. But you know, you can always call in whenever you can. We are here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And of course, we have other great programming. Just before my show, you have Rourke. Let's see. Lee Grant says Medicare Advantage plans, sometimes called Plan C or MA plans, are offered by Medicare-approved private companies that must follow rules set by Medicare. Most Medicare Advantage plans include drug coverage. Yes, they do. Like you heard me speaking to. Hello, Bridge MCP. Welcome to Politics Done Right. Lee Grant, welcome to Politics Done Right. Yes, we do. We do, and like I tell you. Bridge says the Advantage war against Medicare Advantage is massive. $1 trillion ripoff of the federal government and of taxpayers and of many of the people buying the so-called Advantage plans. Yep. Sometimes it hurts the people buying the plans when they can least be hurt. But again, that's why we're here at KPFT 90.1 FM. And again, 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Please call in now. Provide whatever support you can. We cannot do this without you. I'm looking at our system here, waiting for you to make your contributions to ensure we stay on air, to ensure we can provide you with this good type of programming. Folks, the number is 713-526-5738. One more time, 713-526-5738. Hit that number 1. Contribute. What do we have to offer for a $100 contribution or $8.33 a month? You get a KPFT 419 Lovett shirt. That is from the times that we were at Lovett Drive, folks. You remember that beautiful building that we had, that old quaint building that was bombed, that was shot into the works because of the work we do. Additionally, you can get the KPFT 4504 Caroline t-shirt. You get that for $100 or $8.33 a month or $8.33 a month. That is a good thing. So Thomas Morgan, thank you so kindly for your kind contribution. Again, like we said, we could not do this without you. We simply could not do this without you. Folks, please follow Thomas and others that are contributing. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Why not? I haven't made the pitch for my books today yet. So let me go ahead and do that real quickly. Look, you guys know what I talk about. I talk about, 1, learning about our system so that we can make intelligent choices when we vote. We also have, as a learned person, each of us, as we learn, we should promote this to our brothers and sisters. I don't care if they're right wing, left wing, middle wing, whatever. We should find a way to promote this to our brothers and sisters. And lastly, but not least, we should also know what we're looking for. What kind of solutions are we looking for? And in that light, I wrote 3 books. One is As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. That book you can have for $120, $10 a month. And again, that book teaches you all you need to learn about the economic system in a very easy to understand manner. I promise you, you will get it. 713-526-5738. So that's the first book, as I see it, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relative Friends and Neighbors. With this particular book, you learn all there is to know about the economy so you can understand all the crap that they tell you on CNBC and other places. The second book is It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. And why that? After you've learned all this stuff, you want to be able to communicate with others. I mean, look, folks in the middle and would be ready to listen to you, but a lot of your right-wing family, friends, neighbors, they don't want to hear from you. This one kind of tells you how to talk to them, what kind of things to talk to them about. And I tell stories about sitting down in my Starbucks in Kingwood and how we were able to talk to folks who normally would look at you and say, I don't want to hear from you, old crazy lefties. You know, they make a caricature out of many of us. And just knowing how to talk to folks can generate that communication, and folks realize that we have a hell of a lot more in common than we have apart. And the last book, after you talk to your neighbors, after you've learned how to talk to your neighbors, your friends, first you learn. And by the way, that book, It's Worth It, is also a $120 contribution to KPFT, and you can pay that over $10 a month, however you want. And the last book I wrote was called How to Make America Utopia. So you've spoken to all your neighbors. You've learned about the economic system. You've learned how things really, really work. How else then? What else is there to do? You have to then have the ideas. This is what I want to vote for. These are the things that would make a better America. These are things that will make all our lives better if we found a way to institute them. And that's what the third book is about. How to make America Utopia, take away the economy from those who rigged it. These books, each of them are $120 contribution to KPFT. You can pay them monthly at $10 a month. But if you get two of them, those two books cost you $200. In other words, instead of being $240, it's $200 because you're getting them together. If you get all three of them, it's $250 instead of $360, right? So consider getting all three, the whole series. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Give us a call. Hit that number 1 to show that you support what we do. 713-526-5738. We've discussed today Medicare for All. We discussed today Medicare Advantage and Medicare. We were also supposed to discuss the traders, the Silicon Valley guys, and I say traders. I mean, that's a harsh word. That's not what they are. These guys follow the rules. Don't get me wrong. They follow the rules. The thing about it is the rules are rigged. And if you have rigged rules, you get rigged outcomes. And that's why every time you look at your bank account, whenever they're having stock market problems, your money is down. But you know whose monies are never down for too long? Those hedge fund managers and those other stock brokers, etc. They always know how to come out ahead because you always pay the bill. And that's the kind of system that we have. You always pay the bills. I explain all of that in all three of these books, how we have to take command of our own lives. We can't leave it up to politicians that are paid for by corporations. Here's the funny thing. You have one vote, and each person that works for a corporation has one vote. And there are more of you than of them. So what they do is they try to control your mind. Ever read about the Powell Memo? Please go to my website. You can see it. Learn about the Powell Memo at egbertowillies.com. Just go scan for Powell Memo at egbertowillies.com, and you'll not only learn about the Powell Memo, but I give a few videos that I explain how they used this thing here to really harm us all. 713-526-5738. 713. We just got another contribution as well. Thank you so kindly. We couldn't do this without you. The reason I don't see a name on the contribution. So let's see if I can say the name. I think the first name is Tamara. I think so. I think that's a name they put in there, but they didn't put it in the right place. But I think I saw it. 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. Folks, we are down to our last, I think, 5 minutes or so. So please go ahead and give us a call, 526-5738. The one thing I want to say about Silicon Valley is they made a whole lot of money. They're all billionaires now. And a lot of people say, oh, they worked hard or they changed. Look, I want all of us to really start acknowledging our worth. America and all other countries of this type are built on history, are built on the backs of others, and there are some that we grow on the back of others, and others will grow on our backs. It's a progressive movement upward. We cannot break that link. We have to make sure and not let some folks, I spoke in the article I wrote for today's show, and I'm going to say this real quickly. The article I wrote for today's show, what I said was, hey, Bill Gates is a nice guy. He's given away all of his money, but he should have had the money in the first place. The person who developed the 8088 processor on which on which BASIC and all these things that he later developed some and bought some were built on, was built on some engineers that they did their job, they got paid once, and that was it. They were employees. Bill Gates, as using the current economic system, could make money over and over and over again on somebody else's intellect, and then feel that somehow they are deserving of that billion when we are built on the backs of everybody else. That's all I try to preach. Nothing's fancy. Hey, thank you so kindly. Let's see if I can call your name. I know sometimes you guys don't want your names to be called. I don't see it says anything not to call your name. So what I'll do is I'll say, it doesn't say not to call your name. So thank you so kindly. Kenneth, that was a generous contribution. We simply couldn't do this without you. We simply couldn't do this without you, Ken, without you, Thomas, without you, Tamara. We need your support. We couldn't do this without you. Look, folks, we are here Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays here on KPFT, Politics Done Right at noon. Please remember to tell other people about this program. Tell other people about this station. Tell other people what we do here, because that is the way we move forward. Please remember to check out Amy Grant. I love Amy Grant. Amy Goodman at 7 in the mornings at Steve Hunter with Democracy Now! 7 in the morning, Democracy Now! Steve Hunter with You Call at 8 o'clock in the morning. He's a great guy. I love listening to him. He's such an intellect. And the thing about it, he plays it off. And then we have Rourke with Wide Open Spaces. Who can play music like Rourke and many of the other great DJs we have here? And then, of course, on Tuesday, Thursdays, during the same hour, it's the Moral High Ground on News to Know at noon with the one and only Professor Dr. Dean Becker. Folks, please remember, this is an important station. It's a community station. It is your station. And when I say it is your station, you see people call in and change the subject on the fly. Why? Because it is your station. And when we say it's your station, when you donate here, feel free. I've been saying, anybody who put $100 or more in this show, you can come and sit with me at this table anytime and watch us do what we do. And hey, even contribute with your voice. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Come on in, support us, support you, support what we do, because what we do is actually all for us all. Unadulterated truth. You've got my promise here that anything you hear in Politics Done Right is corroborated. Hey, I'm human. I may make a mistake here and there, and always ready to prepare it. My name, we have 1 more minute left, so I have to get ready to clear out of here. So what I want to ask you guys, you have a few more chances. 713-526-5738. Anyhow, folks, my name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.